What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sports Talk 49, live and exclusively on NSPN. I'm Blake Anthony, and this is Sports Talk 49. Now, let's talk about two quick things I wanted to talk about. It's been, been a topic of discussion. As you know, I'm out here in the Champa Bay area, but I talk about other stuff in the league of sports as well, because I am a sports guy. First topic for today, we're going to talk about Leonard Fournette. Now, as I posted on Twitter, which I'm very active on there, you can follow me at Blake Anthony 49, as you see below. Leonard Fournette, allegedly by certain outlets, saying he's 260 pounds, playing at 228 last year, and he's at 260 now. Now, when you look at videos, he's working out, he's powerlifting. Let's look at the video first, and then we'll talk about it, or I'll play the video as we're talking. So Leonard Fournette is out here powerlifting. I mean, he could be trying to put on some weight to fit whatever kind of offense that they got coming in to the season. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe that was the importance of picking up the running back, White, out of Arizona State, to being more versatile back and use Leonard Fournette to his best skill set, which would be power running the ball. I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of answers that we don't have currently at the time because they're away from the team and they're out doing their thing before everybody reports back to get ready for camp and to play these preseason games. But apparently Leonard Fournette was working on IMG Academy last year, I guess, working on slimming down. It's not a secret that Leonard Fournette is a little guy, and he's not going to ever be a little guy. I can see in his genetics that he's going to be a bigger guy in the future. That's just genetics, but he can keep himself in shape, which clearly that's what he's doing. But it seems that he might be putting on pounds to play a power run offense in certain schemes and things, and mix in Giovanni Bernard. Some of the other backs into special packages or what the offense is. I'm not quite sure what Byron Leftwich has in store for the offense coming up. I can't be too mad at him because since he's had this offense in his hands, he's been the top in the league every year. I mean, can't argue with success. Everybody likes to claim is when they're winning, it's Bruce Arians calling plays. Bruce Arians said 1,001 times that he is not the one calling plays. It is Byron Leftwich. He led Jameis Winston 5,000 yards passing and a prolific offense. The Jameis threw 30 picks, but it wasn't on the plays. It was on the player, the person in between the head. Same playbook going to Tom Brady. You have same success there. Tom Brady has the best season of his career. It's 22 years in his career. He has that in Byron Leftwich's offense. So you had a successful offense with a guy who has a propensity to throw interceptions, and you had an successful offense with a guy who doesn't have a propensity to throw interceptions. So the offense has got to be working because it's worked with the best of the best and the worst of the worst as far as interception to touchdown ratio in that aspect and winning. But Leonard Fournette seems to be power training for some reason. Maybe that's going to be his role in the offense. I know he went out to New England and out there and peeked around to see where his services would lie. Maybe that's what New England was going to use him for, kind of like what they used former Buccaneer LeGarrette Blount and many other power backs that they had, Corey Dillon. So maybe that was what's going to happen here in this Buccaneer offense. Leonard Fournette is going to play more of a power role, even though he's shown that he can catch passes. He had a great one-handed catch against Atlanta, I believe it was. And he's came up with some great catches in other games as well. And the key part that I like about him is his blocking ability. His pass block ability is second to none. But apparently Leonard Fournette is somehow training to fit Byron Leftwich's offense or whatever role he's playing in, because he's not out of shape. I know everybody's talking about the weight. I don't know who actually putting this 260 out there. Have you actually seen the scale to verify that he's 260, but I could see him going from 228 to 245. I can definitely see that, especially, putting on the muscle capacity that is the way he's been doing this off season, because clearly he is power training. So we'll see how that lays. I'm interested to see what happens in camp. I'm interested to see when he go into camp and see how that goes, what his role is. I know you're not going to see a whole lot, but you should see a lot when you play the scrimmage practices that the Buccaneers are having joint practices with Miami Dolphins near the middle of July, I believe, or near the July or August. Yeah, right around the August area. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. It's just a lot of questions. I just wanted to get on here and talk about that a little bit because there's just some narrative getting pushed now that the coaches aren't happy with Leonard Fournette's weight. Leonard looks in shape. Leonard looks in shape. Leonard looks like he's ready to go for the season. Leonard looks like he's ready to go. Like I said, I don't know what offensive scheme he's going to fit in. I don't know where he's going in the offense, but it's clearly some type of game plan that Byron Leftwich has in store for him. So we'll see. Now, moving on to Lamar Jackson. In the case of Lamar Jackson here, Lamar Jackson is on a last year of his deal in his contract. Lamar Jackson, and by some don't think he's a successful quarterback and pretending to win a Super Bowl. The guy's only, I think his record is 32-7, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have any stats in front of him, just going off sheer willpower right here. But it's somewhere in that ballpark for a guy his age. But in playoff games, he struggled. I already know why in playoff games why he struggles, because you have more time to game plan. That's why I like to show you guys my film breakdowns and things like that when we're watching film, when I'm talking about quarterbacks and things like that, because I know that if I can scheme and find these ways to propensities that quarterbacks have and things that they do, I know other teams can do it. And I know what I would do and what I wouldn't do against him when you're facing other opponents. So Lamar Jackson, his situation, unless he turns his career around like Randall Cunningham, go from the Philadelphia Eagles to Minnesota, and Minnesota found a way to fit the offense around Randall Cunningham with the running back. It doesn't hurt to have Randy Moss, doesn't hurt to have Chris Carter at wide receiver, and a decent defense, and you lose a playoff game to the Atlanta Falcons on a kick. But a lot of people also put out the stat that mobile quarterbacks don't really win Super Bowls. They win games, but they don't necessarily win Super Bowls. Kaepernick was very close to breaking that stigma, stereotype, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Kaepernick was very, very close to breaking that. Unfortunately, the Ravens had other plans. Their defense did what they always does, stops people when they need to get stops. But you can't argue with stats. Here's another one. How many Heisman Trophy quarterbacks have won Super Bowls? I know that's Joe Theismann. His name's at the tip of my tongue right now. I can't think. I think it's only one quarterback that I can think of that has won a Heisman and won a Super Bowl. For a minute there, Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks weren't very successful in the NFL. If you look at statistic wise, I think it was a long list up into Carson Palmer, but till recently, I know Jameis had a little up and down. Now you got Lamar who's having success, so that's changed a little bit as far as winning and being successful in the league. But as far as winning the Super Bowl, there's not too many. Maybe Joe Burrow beat it. Who knows? But Heisman Trophy quarterbacks are now winning. And then with the Ravens, did the Ravens really want to go back into salary cap purgatory? Kind of like what happened with Joe Flacco when he was there for many years. And Joe Flacco is a guy I know like the back of my hand because I was living out in up north around that time, around University of Delaware. So I was very aware of Joe Flacco. You also didn't know Joe Flacco had a little brother, didn't quite make it to the league. He also played quarterback as well. Bunch of fun facts that you learn when you pay attention to little things. But do they really want to go back into purgatory? Do they want to go back into purgatory with salary cap being how the Mahomes contract kind of paved the way of guys want to get paid? Remember when quarterbacks used to get $100 million contract, and that was a big deal. It was a big deal. And now it becomes normal to give these guys $200 and $300 million contracts on their second deal. And you can't be too mad at them because they've performed within their rookie contracts and now they want to get paid. Now you want to see what your market value is. There's no telling if Lamar Jackson wants to go to another team, will his success carry over there? Because Harbaugh, being the good coach that he is, he got an offensive coordinator that could fit with Lamar Jackson. Who is that? The same offensive coordinator that worked with Colin Kaepernick, as I mentioned earlier. Notice how I rolled that all in together. Is the same offensive coordinator coaching Lamar Jackson that coached Colin Kaepernick, hence running with the same skill set and the same kind of passing ability. Kaepernick tends to sell balls. Lamar Jackson tends to sell balls because they throw from their hip a lot when they throw. I am not a huge quarterback expert, but I know how to look at quarterbacks from a defensive. I played defense, so I know how I paid attention to how the trajectory of the ball comes out in certain situations. That's how you become good in this league. That's why linebackers, DBs, and stuff like that set yourself apart from average players, because you have to pay attention to the smaller things that are happening when you're playing against a very athletic player. What kind of balls they come out, how they come out, which even left-handers, you got to pay left-handers. The ball spins another directions and things like that. Those are just small things that you got to pay attention when you're playing defense against guys like Lamar Jackson. It's easier throws for him to get the ball to his tight end. I called this with a couple of Baltimore Raven fans. I told them Hollywood Brown would not remain in Baltimore. He does not fit the skill set there, nor does Lamar Jackson have the passing ability to get that ball there. He's used to having guys like Kyler Murray and guys get him the ball, baseball-type players throwing them balls. It wouldn't work in Baltimore. Lo and behold, it didn't work in Baltimore. Hence, I predicted the future. No, I'm not. I don't have no crystal ball. That's just small things that I could see. He doesn't fit that skill set. A guy that would work out with Lamar Jackson would be a big physical receiver where he could throw jump balls, he could throw balls in the area, and these receivers can make radius type catches, which, going up over defenders and making catches and things like that, versus a small, speedy guy. Duvernay they have there was a great returner out of Texas, got a lot of speed. He'll find his way. It's around 3 years that receivers should come on. I know the Buccaneers are really waiting for Tyler Johnson to come on here coming into year 3. They don't usually pack. If they usually don't reach their peak at that point, and it's really time to move on. Scotty Miller, Jalen Darden's coming into year 2. You can clearly see that the game was moving a little too fast for Jalen in his first season. Now it looks like he's got his legs up under him a little bit, and he's going to find his way back. But Lamar needs those big type receivers on this team, which they've went out and got. Bateman. I know Sammy Watkins went over there. He's a receiver that can go up and get and still has a little speed. But you're not going to get a whole lot of veterans coming out there. And this is what I've told the Baltimore Ravens fans before. A receiver is not going to go out there for charity stripe just to be out there to say that you got a receiver. His contracts are coming off of his performance. And if his performance, he can't get the ball to perform, how in the hell can he use leverage to get money when contract comes up because his quarterback can't get him the ball? And I had these conversations with Ravens fans and Ravens people that, that cover them. There's a lot of intangibles. What do I mean by that? I mean intangibles because Lamar Jackson, on record that I know of to this day, had one of the was it him or Deshaun Watson? I don't know what his Wonderlic score. I think it was Deshaun Watson. But they had, their Wonderlic scores, the way you digest problems and come up with decision making and things like that. I don't know, but I'm gonna break down a lot of tape when they face off against the Buccaneers face off against Lamar Jackson. How fast does he go through his reads? Those are things I look at. One of the easiest quarterbacks for me to read, and I could understand why his Leonard score was like that, was Deshaun Watson. That if I was playing, I could read that guy like a book playing. And that's just not me sitting in the chair. That's quite honest truth. Anybody that's ever played with me, I'll tell you that. When I study a guy and get a lock on him, it's going to be set. And he was one of those guys because his ability to read the their offensive patterns and things like that, it was just easy for me to understand. So now Lamar Jackson, it relies on your legs a lot. So it's a 1-2 read or one read, and then use the legs, then look up for your tight end. Or look for the back or look like that. Granted, they didn't have the running back either, but was out for injury. Then I don't know, a lot of y'all knew that Tyson Williams, son of a former teammate of mine, when me and his father used to play with the development league with the Saints team back in the day when we won a championship together. Tyson Williams, my friend Carlos' son, came in there and came in that primetime game, and scored a touchdown. I think it was on a draw play or something like that. But I remember Tyson when he was a little kid coming out there to watch his dad play. But what was I saying? Oh, and reading offenses and things. I was reading defenses for him. It's the process breaking down, and that's the kind of conversation that I had that I don't have answers for. Like I'll tell you guys stuff that I know and stuff that I don't know, and those are answers I don't know. I don't know his intelligence level. Basically, what I'm saying, I don't know his intelligence level. I don't know how hard he studies tape. I was looking at the other day at Jamarcus Russell talking about his career, and it was just laziness. If you can get a hold of Mike Clayton, he could talk you more about what Jamarcus was like at LSU versus going to the pros. But I don't understand it. I don't know his intelligence. I don't know how he can read tape. I don't know how much information going play week to week, changing offensive schemes. I know when I was asked to play offense, yet then I took pride in knowing everybody's job, even though I wasn't the quarterback. I took pride in knowing every hand signal, every blocking pattern. I knew everybody's job on the field. I guess that kept me involved, especially in practice and things like that, because you never know in game situations where you might have to play. I was defensive captain. I had to know everybody's responsibility, knowing I'm making the defensive call every play, so I have to make sure people are lined up. Like, those are responsibilities that I don't know that he can take on fully. Those are the things I don't know. It's just intelligence level and the ability. I guess the word I'm looking for is the ability to manage an entire offense. I guess that's a better way of putting it. The ability to manage an entire offense, because it's a lot. You have to know what routes. You and receivers, if you have choice routes, if you want a receiver to run in a blind spot in a certain coverage or whatever it is, there's just a lot of intangibles in the game. And I know us journalists, us reporters, whatever you want to call us, look at things like that. But there's a lot of answers that guys wouldn't understand that because they've never really been in that situation. And there's a lot of good guys out there that try to learn, what these things are and understanding them, because to help your listener and your readers understand a little bit more about the game versus you just line up, hike the ball, throw it, and then that's it. You either throw a touchdown, incompletion, or a interception. There's a little bit more to it. But the quarterback does get the brunt of the blame. But there's a lot of more. There's more to it than meets the eye, is what I would say. So Baltimore's, they can do a couple of things here. Baltimore can play out the year. Don't know if Jackson will sit out. They can give him extension. It's possible they can give him that extension. And then just roll with the dice, give him salary cap purgatory. Because they're going to have a lot of players coming up too that's going to be needing contract extensions, offensive linemen, and all types of stuff. They sent Orlando Brown to the Chiefs, as Orlando Brown wanted to be paid left tackle money, but he played right tackle. The Chiefs took him in a trade, and the Chiefs moved him to left tackle. Now the Chiefs are faced with having to pay Orlando Brown left tackle money, and he has not re-signed with the team currently as of yet that I know of. But that's a situation that Baltimore avoided. moving that salary cap purgatory off their hands and got a first-round pick out of it. Chiefs needed offensive linemen, so it worked out. I mean, that's really it. What I got with Lamar Jackson, I wanted to say, it's just a lot of what ifs. They keep the same coach, same offensive coordinator. He still keep winning, but when it comes down to playoff games, it's going to be really hard. It's really easy to scheme against him because you kind of know what they're going to do. If you got good corners, you can kind of match up your corners with their wide receivers, double down on your tight end, force him to have to go to the back or go to somewhere he wants. And then the hardest part of all is stopping his running ability. I mean, Bill Belichick has had success against him every time they've played. He's really good at stopping mobile quarterbacks because he's a defensive guru. But I'm going to have fun breaking that tape down and breaking down the tendencies of Lamar Jackson. Most of you guys some of you guys are listening to me on Twitter, the Twitter radio. Everybody's always said 100 times, I always had a voice for radio. So here it is. Twitter has provided it, and I'm going to use the hell out of it. I see a few of you guys on there. I can tell you, reach out at any time, man. You got questions. I have totally involved with these players, especially when they talk to me, virtual one-on-one phone calls or whatever. I always get involved in their charities. So if there's opinions and stuff that you or questions that you have that you want me to answer, I'll tell you if I know or don't know or what I speculate. So it's not confusing or misleading. I will tell you what I do and don't know that I'm allowed to tell. But so a lot of things in store for 2022 as far as NFL season, and that's among a lot of teams. When the Chiefs come to town, it should be a great time with that. As you know, I call him my little nephew. Joshua Williams was drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs in the 4th round. We're from the same town, went to the same high school. He's now playing for the Chiefs. He plays corner for the Chiefs. So we'll see if he gets a starting spot. That'll be fun linking back up with him. I had a one-on-one. You can just scroll through any of my social media platforms. It should be on there, Joshua Williams. Because, of course, the Bucs play the Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch, round 3, if you want to call it that. That's pretty much all I got. I wanted to talk about those two topics was Leonard Fournette. Is it scheme fit, powerlifting, putting on weight, or is he just eating? But he's not out of shape. He's not fat, stomach hanging out. White makes you look bigger. I'm a black man, obviously. Leonard Fournette is a guy who's going to be a big guy when he gets older. It's genetics. You can't beat it. There's guys that have good genetics like Terry Crews and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and all that stuff like that. Genetics. Leonard Fournette's going to be a big guy. So he's not going to stay small forever. Is he at Eddie Lacy level? No. Eddie Lacy's a big guy too. And those are genetics. You just can't beat him. And I don't know what he's doing at home. I don't know if he's eating bonbons and Hostess cakes and stuff like that. I can't answer that because I'm not at the man's house. All I can do is look at what I see on TV and look at what he puts on the internet and base my opinion. And if you know me, I don't base sugar honey iced tea. I don't base off that. I need a little more information than that because a 20-second clip or a 15-second clip ain't telling me a whole story. That's not telling me anything. Rob Gronkowski said it best. I switched shirts for the workouts, and you thought I was doing 2 workouts. So you can't base yourself off of that. If you're a journalist or whatever person you are talking about stuff like that, you need a little more information. But 2022 season is going to be a lot of fun. I got a lot of stuff in store for you. I've been away for a little while enjoying this break from all sports. But I'm coming back full-fledged and 110% with a bunch of stuff. Especially this year. It's good schedule. Good schedule this year. I'm looking forward to having Denzel Perriman around again. Was right here on the show with me and Deshaun Tisdale. Said he put me in and watch what happens. He got out of Carolina. That situation out of Carolina was traded to the Raiders, made the Pro Bowl, working on a contract extension as we speak. I won't tell you the numbers and things like that. And we'll see what the Raiders are going to do with it. Maybe he makes another Pro Bowl. Maybe he doesn't. Of course, Levante David. Does he get extended? What do I know about that? That conversation hasn't brought up yet. What do I know about Levante David's contract extension if there's an extension? We'll see. Time will only tell. So much going on. So much going on. But that's all I got for you guys right now. I appreciate you guys listening on the Twitter world. Like I said, reach out to me, man. If I know, I know. If I don't, I don't. I'll tell you. And I'll tell you, I do know, but I can't tell. Wait till a later date. Looking to get up with my guy out there in Washington, Derek Forrest, if you guys ever check him out. He was my Cleveland connect up there in Cleveland and moved down to Washington now. Now he's covering the Washington Commanders now. I almost said the R word. Washington Commanders down there. So that's my Washington connect. If you guys follow him on social media, Derek Forrest, the Rock, they call him up there in Cleveland. Great sports guy. Great guy, period. Known him for a long time. I think since I was like 18 years old. Known him a long time. Yeah, that's all I got, man. And we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you, guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons.
You having a huge party?
Nope, just me.
Get delicious cuisine from the country's best chefs delivered right to your door with the click of a button.